Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2020 Formula 2 World Tour season, and today we are doing the 8th round of the championship at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, America. So, not long to go and we are more or less tied for the championship points lead. The gap is very narrow, so we need a solid result here. That starts in qualifying, so those 4 points for pole position will come in very handy should we take them, but Nobuharu Matsushita, our main rival, has been very quick as of late, so it'll be interesting to see how this weekend plays out. Obviously, us driving as Juan Manuel Correa, the home favourite here in America, so let's see if we can bring home a solid result for him at his home round. So as we continue then through our lap, it's been an okay lap so far, and we move on now to the final corner, taking a lot of the inside curb there. DRS open across the line and we go second fastest as things stand behind Antoine Hubert.
Qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top three are Hubert, Correa and Jordan King. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the feature race tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
So P2 for us is a very decent result, not quite pole position, so no points for us today. Those go to Antoine Hubert, but a decent starting position nonetheless. We can fight for the win from here, so let's just get into it with our championship rival down in 6th. We have a good chance for some good points today. Let's go.
You join us back at Texas for today's race, and it's shaping up to be a special one. I think it's safe to say we're all waiting in anticipation for what will be, no doubt, an incredible day of Formula 2. The Circuit of the Americas is a 3.4-mile track made up of 20 turns. Turn 1 being the biggest standout, boasting a very steep uphill run going into a tight hairpin corner. The circuit features plenty of long, tight corners and long straights with 2 DRS zones to incentivize overtaking throughout. Well then, after an exciting session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Antoine Hubert has a good view of turn 1 from his pole position slot, with Juan Manuel Correa alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have King, Aitken, Nikita Mazepin, and Matsushita, Boccalacci, Giotto, Joe, Nick de Vries, Ilott, Schumacher, Giuliano Alesi, and Latifi, Delatraz, Boschon, Tete Camara, and Tatiana Calderon. Galeo and Mahavir Raghunathan starts from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So here we are on the grid then for the feature race here at the Circuit of the Americas in Texas, and the strategy will be super softs to the mediums, usual Formula 2 stuff, but a gap between the 2 tyre compounds here, that could be important later on. But now we go to the 5 red lights. And away we go for the feature race here in America, and it's a great start for us versus Antoine Hubert. We can't quite pull alongside as we head towards the first corner. We'll have a little look though, but Hubert's just got enough to cover us off as we make a little bit of contact there with his left rear tyre with our nose cone, but thankfully no damage done, and we can continue on, but getting very close there, but thankfully no damage done. We can continue to push on and try and keep up with him through this first sector. It's very difficult, even in the Formula 2 cars, to follow through here. The dirty air is absolutely horrendous, and you can see it sort of kicking in already. So we'll need to be very wary of that as we try and follow him through here.
We've held position on lap 1. That's not great, but it's not terrible. Stay focused.
And now we just need to push on and try and stay within the slipstream and the DRS range while we get through the opening stages of this race. We move on then to lap number 3, and we are in the slipstream with DRS range off Hubert. We go down the inside into the end of the back straight, but we miss the apex by a mile, run very deep, and Hubert gets a switchback and gets back through ahead of us and maintains the lead. And we are really trying to put the pressure on him though through this final sector and see if we can potentially get a run later on. We move on then to another lap later, lap number 4, through this hairpin, and Hubert a little bit squirrely on the exit there. Now we've got a very good slipstream, a very good tow. We've got the DRS open earlier here, and now we're going to make the move to the inside, and this should be nice and easy this time to get through on the Frenchman, and we should be able to close this off in the braking zone, and we do just that. Make the move to get that back up into the lead of the race that we held for about 1 second earlier on, but the lead is now ours, and we can control this race from here on out. So as we continue on then to lap number 10, we are actually under fire now from Aiken, who goes down the inside, locks up on the front right there, but he gets the move done nonetheless. We left him a lot of space there with that lock-up. I wasn't quite sure where his car was going to end up, but Aiken now has gotten ahead of us, and Hubert's really dropped away. He's out of the top 5 there in the top left, so I'm not sure what's happened to the Frenchman, but he's had some kind of major issue in this one. Maybe he lost a bit of his front wing battling away with Aiken, I'm not sure, but yeah, that is the Anglo-Korean driver up into the lead now, and we've dropped down into second position. But it's time to pit on the very next lap then, lap 11, so we'll see if we can potentially jump him in the pit lane. We're close, but probably not quite close enough for that to happen, so we'll do the best we can on the outlap to try and close the gap then, but hopefully we'll get a decent stop. But there goes Aitken going past us there, and we're going to drop in behind as we potentially are a little bit held up by another car there, so yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, but we did pit on the first sort of round of pit stops, so there's a lot of cars out there now who haven't pit, so no one will be getting the undercut on us, so we will be back out in second position once everyone else makes their stops. You can see we're really struggling on these tyres that are just not up to temperature at all in this one, but we move on then, and heading past the pit lane once again, and we blaze past a bunch of cars and up into second position. But you can see Aitken has really gotten away at this point, and yeah, just really opened up the gap on that outlap. And that is Matsushita out of the race with the mechanical failure. That's going to ruin not just the weekend, but the whole championship for him, and that's going to be very difficult to recover from in the final 2 rounds. But that is his weekend down the drain with the reverse grid format in the next race. That is going to ruin it as well, so that is a disaster for him. But as we continue on then in the DRS of Jack Aitken, the weekend just getting better and better for us. We have a look to the inside, Aitken defends, we go to the outside as we head down towards the end of the back straight, late on the brakes, but Aitken equally so on the inside, trying to keep the fight going. We're side by side, we leave each other some room, but we will get the move done on the Campos driver, and we move ourselves up and into the lead of this one, and we now will lead the way here at Circuit of the Americas. Here's the replay of that move, a very aggressive switch to the outside there, as there was a huge gap on the outside, and that inside line just hasn't been working for us this weekend, so working the outside line there and getting the move done very, very nicely there on Jack Aitken, and that was the race. More or less, as we look at a nice slow-mo here with the damage on the nose cone there. But around the final corner we come. We're going to win the feature race here at the Circuit of the Americas. And then I had my Xbox issues that I mentioned in the last video, and I couldn't do the sprint race. So that's unfortunate. I also don't have the podium ceremony or any of that post-race stuff because the file's corrupted. So all I have is this highlights package of the race. So yeah, bit of a weird ending to this one, unfortunately, but there we go. Unfortunately, that it just happens from time to time. You get these technical issues, but yeah, a win for us nonetheless in this one, as our main title rival did not finish. That is a huge points result for us in the championship. I will say though, between this feature race and the sprint race, which you're about to see, I just mentioned I couldn't do it because the Xbox kind of broke, but thankfully in quick succession I was able to get my hands on a new Xbox, so an Xbox One X, not a Series X. I'm not that lucky, but nonetheless I'll be able to thankfully continue this series. I mentioned in my last video that I might have to basically end the F1 2020 content if I couldn't get a new Xbox, but thankfully that is not the case, and I was able to yeah, get a new Xbox very quickly, and I'll be able to continue recording this game. So what you're about to see in the next race is actually recorded on a totally different console to this one, so I don't know, maybe you can tell me if the graphics look any better on the new one. Actually, this highlights package was even recorded on the new console so that's something. But anyway, back to focusing on this specific series though, and yeah, it was a great race for us today. Obviously maximum points, I don't know if we got the fastest lap or not. We didn't see the sort of post-race stuff. I think we might have. I tend to get a lot of fastest laps because I'm very inconsistent, so when I'm setting the difficulty, over the duration of the race it's about right, but on any one lap I could just you know, fluke a very, very good one and get the fastest lap. But anyway, we'll just take those bonus points if we got them, I'm not sure. But anyway, let's get into the sprint race and try and continue this form.
And here we are, back after yesterday's exciting feature race for today's sprint. The top 8 from yesterday have been reversed for the grid down below, and we're almost ready to start. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao Alex, it's a pleasure to be here. There are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
I will not let you down, Jeff. But here we go then as we get ready to go to the 5 red lights. And away we go for the sprint race here at Circuit of the Americas from 8th on the grid, and it's not been a good start. Immediately dumping a couple of positions here on the grid, and now trying to gain them back again down into the first corner. They're gone about 5 wide up there. We'll sneak through on the inside and get a lot of those positions back. We're up into 7th position now, so after a bad launch off the line and bad reaction time, actually gaining a position there overall, so a net gain for us is exactly what we needed. But next up ahead is Dorian Boccolacci as we're struggling to get through this first sector with tyres a little bit cold at this point in the race, and yeah, just struggling to get the turn in, as you can see again there. But we'll get our head around that and try and get some heat into these tyres. We're a little bit caught up on top of the curb now. We've got to look out behind because the car behind has a run on us, but we'll be able to hold them off into this hairpin and hold on to our position. That was Jordan King, I believe, who was having a look there as we are weaving along the straight now to try and get some temperature into these tyres, and hopefully that helps us out. But P7 for us with Dorian Boccolacci just ahead. And now as we move on to the final corner, trying to get a good launch here, and we do have a decent one as we sit in the slipstream. This is now moving on to the 3rd lap of the race, so DRS will be activated soon, but we're going to have a look to go down the inside into the hairpin of the first corner. We go a little bit deep, but we make the move stick on Dorian Boccolacci and move ourselves up and into 6th position.
Nice move. Good job.
Next up is the Canadian Nicholas Latifi. Let's see what we can do against him as we head into the hairpin just before the back straight, almost running into the back of the Canadian. But we do get a good exit, actually, strangely enough, out of that. Switch back to the inside, and DRS open for us. Latifi will have it as well, though, from the group of cars ahead of him as we go side by side all the way down the back straight, just locked for speed. Latifi with a bit of slipstream, getting a bit of an advantage. We're later on the brakes, though, but we go very deep. Latifi with a fantastic switchback. Where on earth did he come from then? He just teleported from one side of our car to the other, it seems there. That's what I felt like in the car at the time. I have no clue how he got his car to the left-hand side there, but it was a great switchback from him, as we're really bamboozled by that and making some mistakes now. But we're able to hold on and not lose any more positions. But that was a great switchback by Latifi. That was some fantastic stuff. But look at the run we've got here through this long right-hander. We almost had a look to the inside. I had a long and hard think about it. Into the second to last corner. We thought better of it because it's not a huge braking zone, so it's very dangerous and risky as Latifi locks up into the final corner. Unusual place to see that, so we're both putting a lot of pressure on each other, and we're both making mistakes here as we head down toward the first corner once again. And we're going to make another move on Latifi down the inside, and we only just avoid contact with the back of the next car up ahead. But thankfully contact was avoided. That was Mazepin up ahead that we almost slammed into the back of, but thankfully we're able to avoid that. Now we have a bit of contact with the back of Latifi as we're really pushing hard through that right-hander once again. We just can carry so much speed through there in the sprint race for some reason. The cars just come alive through that corner. We got the inside of Latifi into the final corner, and it's going to be a drag race along the main straight once again.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
But we do get ahead of Latifi, who's now drag racing Jordan King along the main straight, and the British driver trying to improve his position here, but it looks like he'll be able to get that done. We move on then, and now putting pressure on Nikita Mazepin. We're going to have a look to the inside. We're going to put the power down here with our extra speed through this corner. Bit of contact with Mazepin where we get through and ahead of the Russian, and as we have to leave a bit of space as he thought he might have a little go to the inside there, but we maintain the position ahead of Mazepin and can now focus on the podium place. Cars ahead of us. Ralph Boschung is the next car up the road, so let's see if we can chase down the Swiss driver, who has been doing very well in real Formula 2 recently, but we'll get back to that at a later time. We go down the inside. No, we back out of it there. Ralph Boschung holding on to the position there. He's actually putting a bit of pressure on Nick de Vries, but as we move on through this very long right-hander, it's been a favourite corner of ours, and we have to take a bit of avoiding action there as Boschung was not quite aware we were on the outside line there, and we're still trying to fight this. We went a little bit off circuit. We're going to go for a nice switchback here, put the power down, DRS open. Boschung's got DRS as well, but his line was a bit compromised through there, and we're going to try and make this move to the inside of the first corner, and we've got a bit of overlap, and it's not going to be too difficult to outbrake him, but we go very deep again, and that's going to allow Boschung to make a switchback. Once again, we're running right out of road on the left-hand side, a bit like what he did to us, and we end up holding on to that position. Next up is Nick de Vries, and once again we catch him through this long right-hander. We just seem to be so fast. Now we finally go for that move down the inside into the penultimate corner. De Vries with the switchback though, and finds his way back through. That was another textbook switchback there from the Dutch driver as we're pushing him through now the final corner with the DRS open. Now we'll see if we can make a move to the inside, but our front wing taking a few little bumps here in this race. We switch to the outside aggressively again, just like we did with Jack Aiken. De Vries very late on the brakes there, barging us wide almost there. We had to take a bit of avoiding action, and we eventually get it away once again. There's the aggressive swap to the outside, but you can see De Vries missed the apex by miles there. That's something I would do, but I've never seen the AI miss the apex by so much in that sort of situation. But as we continue on, you can see again we're getting very close to Nick de Vries, so we're going to be able to make the move here. We're going to try and carry the speed around the outside of turn 2, and we've got it done. That is a crazy move there on Nick de Vries, running a little bit deep into the next section just to make sure we got that move done. But wow, that was a crazy aggressive move around the outside. De Vries left us the space, but we were able to carry the speed with a more open line through the corner, and that was a really nice run there, and we're able to get that one done. And now we can try and focus on the race leader Guan Yu Zhou, who has really stormed away from the rest of the field in this one. Guan Yu Zhou, the safety car is now out, and that is for our teammate Callum Ilott, and he retires from the race with a mechanical failure. Unfortunate for him, and that's not good for our constructors title hopes. But Matsushita and the Carlin team with the DNF in the first one, there's a much bigger blow for them. This is only a sprint race, so the stakes are not as high, but we continue on then, and we are going to fight as if the stakes are through the roof, because we now have a chance at the race lead. We were very slow on the restart, and we left a big old gap to Guan Yu Zhou, so that wasn't ideal, but we should be able to get on the rear end of that UNI Virtuosi car. On the restart, we go down the inside from a long way back, and we're going to run too deep here. Zhou with another switchback there, and that was, yeah, well and truly an optimistic move. That was never going to work, but well placed there from Zhou to get his car back ahead of us and not get tangled up in an accident there. But a fastest lap of the race for us as we are trying to catch back up to him, and we're going to have another look to the inside. Zhou doesn't quite see us coming. Contact is made there on the apex, but we do get through this time ahead of the Chinese driver. We're able to carry the speed mid-corner just better than he was, and we got that move done rather easily, I want to say, considering how far back we made that move from. But we have the lead now, and now it's just about controlling the race to the end as we are struggling through this middle sector with the tyres. But with the lead now, we should be able to hold on to this one, I would imagine. We've had good pace in this sprint race, so we may be able to do the double here and win both races. So let's see what we can do as we continue on then through the race. We just need to minimize mistakes like this one as we slide off the track, just about keep it under control. But that was a scary moment, and that cost us a fair amount of our margin. We move on now to the penultimate lap of the race, the end of the penultimate lap, so just over a lap to go. And another one here as we get up on the curb. This upsets the car massively there, but we do manage to hold on to it once again. But yeah, we were really pushing the limits, and the car snapping away on a couple of occasions. Here's a replay of that last one as we just got tangled up on the curb there. The car, huge slide there, and lucky to be able to save that one. So that was a bit of a warning to maybe calm things down a little bit on the final lap then. But here we go then on said final lap around the last few corners. We won the feature race earlier on, and now we're going to do the double as we drift around the final corner. We're going to win the sprint race as well.
Great job. You've done everything we wanted today.
What a weekend we've had here at Circuit of the Americas. Driver of the day, of course, coming with that one. And crazy race to get through the field.
So Charus have won it, and what a great race it was. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
The difference was in the strategy. Credit to the driver for sure, but races like this really drive home how much of a team sport this is. They did a lot of work on the pit wall to really make the most of each stint and to make the best use of these tires. But that said, all of that would have been for nothing without a talented hand on the wheel.
Looks like they're on their way out onto the podium now, and what a result this is. A popular one with the crowd as well. Great stuff to see the Charus team on top here today.
Well, there we have it. We do the double here and take both of the race wins. That is a crazy one. Guan Yu Zhou ends up in second position with Nick de Vries in third.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It's a good result for Juan Manuel Correa, who extends his advantage at the top of the championship. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
Alex, I choose Juan Manuel Correa. Just impressed me in the overtakes maneuver, so well done to him.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams' Championship. Charus moved further clear at the top of the table. There was also a strong showing from the Univirtuosi team today as they make their way up the standings. There will be plenty more twists and turns to come this season. I hope you'll join us at the next race when Formula 2 returns.
Alright then. That was... I'm going to say that was a semi-lucky result, because we never would have caught Guan Yu Zhou if it wasn't for that safety car caused by our teammate. But nonetheless, that was a very good result nonetheless for us, so I'm not going to have any complaints about that one. Didn't I? I feel like I said that recently, that our teammate caused a safety car that benefited us. But anyway, oh well, that is just the way it went. But anyway, yeah, thankfully, as I said earlier, we'll be able to continue this series as I've got a new Xbox now. So I thought for a while that it was just going to be the feature race of this one, and then that would be it. But yeah, thankfully we'll be able to finish off this series properly and do the final 2 rounds. There's that battle with Ralph Bosch, and we really squeezed him hard there. And I noticed he really dropped out of the finishing order completely. He wasn't in the top 14, I don't think. So I'm not sure if he made a pit stop or if he had a mechanical failure later in the race. I don't know what exactly caused that. There's that aggressive defending there from Nick de Vries. But we both got away with it. But yeah, that was so surprising to see de Vries defending and just sending it into the corner so hard and missing the apex by that much. I've never ever seen an AI fight so harshly there, but great to see. But yeah, that was a crazy one. But anyway, So, other than that though, that is about it for this one. We have a huge championship lead now. I don't know exactly what it is, but it was on screen a while ago, just after the race finished. So, yeah, crazy championship lead. 2 rounds to go though, so anything can happen. And given that this is Formula 2, it probably will. That was very naughty there, cutting off Guan Yu Zhou. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time for more Formula 2 action. Goodbye.